let's talk about this for a second, because that Golden State Rockets game is not the basketball I want to see. I don't want games in the 80s and 90s. I know you guys are all staring at me because you want to talk about the stardom of Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. However, Van Vliet and Green going 7 for 34 for 2 free throws. Get out of here, Rockets. Go now. Take your entire season and get out of here. All of you can just go. We all know that's what you're going to be. You're not going to beat the best teams in this conference. Thank you for trying the entire regular season. But Van Vliet and Green, 7 for 34, 2 free throws between them. And also, Jimmy Butler, 5 steals.
Yeah.
5 steals.
That's why the Warriors were minus 190 headed into that series. I mean, I was asking Amin about it last week, but we found out after a game why they were the favorites, and heavy favorites.
You like that? So Draymond Green's talking after the game. I wonder how Heat fans feel about all this, because Draymond Green's talking after the game. That's championship pedigree, saying, yeah, Jimmy calms us down. We got to get Jimmy the ball more late. Everything slows down. Jimmy scores 6 of his points in the last minute 40. It is crazy to me to watch that team in game 1 of its playoffs defer to Jimmy Butler on, yeah, he calms us.
I mean, he's not that team needs it, but he's kind of the adult in the room. Like, they know, hey, this guy right here is super comfortable. He's super serious. And I'll tell you, there were moments in that game I was like, I miss that. I remember that. I remember being comfortable when that guy had the ball.
I don't understand how it is that we've spent 2 seasons talking about Kuminga over there, and then they trade for Jimmy Butler, and Kuminga's a great asset, and he's top shelf, and we got to get him playing minutes, and never mind.
Funny thing is, he played really well against the Rockets this season. He averaged like 23, 24 a game against the Rockets, but he's just fallen out of the rotation completely. I was talking to Amin last week, and I was like, why is it that Kuminga just all of a sudden, who was such a good piece, is now gone out of the rotation? He's not playing. He's like, he's not plus at anything that he can do with Draymond and Jimmy on the floor. It's just he's an extra piece that fits the same hole that they play already.
And he's a free agent. He's got to be so
restricted,
mad.
though. Restricted, so
all
it's
right.
tough.
He's got to be so mad, though. He's the DMP. He's going to be a free agent.
That's the thing with Kuminga and Jimmy, though. That's the difference, is Jimmy does everything well. He complements both Draymond and Steph in the way that he plays his game, because he can allow Draymond to do different things defensively, Steph to do different things offensively, and then you can run everything through him, and he's a calming presence, where Kuminga and his inexperience is part of the problem. So when you switch those two things, that's why the Warriors are willing to defer. They're always used to having another guy there who's an adult in the room with them. It just happens to be a guy in Jimmy who's one of the best postseason players around.
I'm going to do this again. A ton of bad games.
Bad games, what you gonna do when Dan Le Batard judges you? Tell me, what you gonna do? Hey, bad games, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when Dan judges you?
Stugotz, when Jimmy Butler goes 25-5-5-5 with the 5 steals.
Yep.
Did anyone else in that game have 4 steals? Did anyone 5 steals in a playoff game where the possessions are mattering, and in that playoff game, one of the few that is in the 80s and 90s. To find yourself watching a basketball game, and Jimmy Butler is one of 3 players ever to have high-end numbers in playoff games. They're 25-5-5-5, the 5 steals as well. The other 2 are Jordan and Westbrook. For him at the end of that game to be in a locker room where Draymond Green is saying out loud, we need to get him the ball more on a team with Steph Curry.
Well, of course.
Well, but what do you mean, of course?
I mean, you got Jimmy Butler to give him the ball and give him the ball often. That's why you went out and got Jimmy Butler.
But you say, of course, the team has Steph Curry on it. To hear in a locker room afterward, the least calm player in the league. saying of Jimmy Butler when he's played with plenty of calm. Saying that guy calms us because he slows everything down. He's going to get free throws. And he's in a game. Again, I'm going to say it. Van Vliet and Green, 7 for 34, 2 free throws between them. You cannot beat a champion that way.
But I think when Draymond says that Jimmy calms us, it's just having that second guy. Without Jimmy Butler, that team has no shot of winning an NBA title. With Jimmy Butler, that team is now more constructed the way it used to be. Although Jimmy is a very different player than Klay Thompson, they have a second scoring option on that team, and it's Jimmy Butler.
See, that's
and
what
that
I
brings
think
the team comfort.
That's what I think. I think it's not Draymond saying if we want to win, Jimmy has to have the ball. No, it's we need somebody other than Steph to have the. Like, it's not going to be Pajimski. It's not going to be Moses Moody. It's like,
not going to be me.
It can't. It's not going to be me. It can't be all Steph. Give Jimmy the basket. I think that's what it's about.
A couple of things that of course that's what it's about, but it's still there. Like, I understand. It's not, I'm not confused. I'm not confused.
I thought you sounded confused.
No,
you didn't know if Jimmy Butler's any good.
Yes, very confused. Yes.
He's good.
Yeah. I mean, you asked us.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate,
We're here for you. It's Monday.
I appreciate that he's good.
Tooth is killing me.
Well, let's talk about this for a second, because I've given you guys the stat before, which is an insanity. Jimmy Butler, 0 40-point games in his regular season career, 8 40-point games in the playoffs. To have the first game play out that way, because we're sitting here really, you guys understand, all of us do, what we're betting on. How many injections, how many knee things is he going to have to overcome? Because it always looks this way. Game one, when he's fresh and rested and 35 and 5 steals. Then you start fast forwarding mileage on the body, what this stuff takes out of the body, and you're waiting for a breakdown. The bet between the Heat and the Warriors on Jimmy is, he ain't going to make it to the end of that. You know he's not going to make it to the end of that. And the bet the Warriors are making is like, just give us 7 or 8. Steph will take us the rest of the way. Just get us halfway there. And it's such an interesting bet on like how a window closes quickly, because everybody's like, oh my God, by 50 they took out Memphis. They took out Memphis by 50. Like, that team's here. That team can only be beaten right now by what you got Clippers, what you got Warriors, what you got old guys Lakers. It ain't going to get beaten by Houston.